So what's up guys in the airport? Waiting for my flight of course, but excited to try all the food in Seattle, and I'm gonna show you guys all the stuff and all the sites. I'm gonna film as much as I can and remember the film. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in a bit. Sitting in San Jose, got like 2 hours. It's always good to get early for your flight. The earlier the better. The later just means you might get late for your flight, and I'd rather be early than sorry. So, gonna fill up some water, chill, got my charger, just gonna relax and then get ready for my flight. Huge travel tip: if you don't want to have plastic, once I'm trying to use less plastic, bring a glass bottle. You can take these with you anywhere. Sometimes I was always weary about bringing one, but went through TSA and it was perfect. So fill it up at any water station, and this way you don't have to have any plastic, and glass is way easier to break down than plastic. Very pedestrian friendly.
It says no charge parking period.
Alright.
So,
in 800 feet, turn right.
well, that's different. The lights on the
Totally. We do that while we usher 100 people across the street all in one go. Yeah. 188 apparently.
I want to point it out for another reason, though. If you look at it, it's just under 500 feet tall. Pretty impressive. But I want to point that out because the hills, cliffs, and bluffs that used to exist east of here were 200 to 300 feet tall. So the grade of this hill has been changed quite dramatically over the years. It used to be a 49% grade. Now it's an 18% grade. So what we used to do when we had the mill over there, we would chop down the trees at the top of that hill, and then we would slide those logs down what we called Mill Road. Some folks referred to it as the skid road for those logs that were skidding down to the mill. They were processing into lumber, mostly sending it out to San Francisco. They kept burning their town down. We did it once and we did it right. This locally referred to as the skid road became a demarcation, a border in the city. The businesses that set up shop south of the skid road primarily were aimed at entertaining the young men who worked at the mill or on the dock or chopping down those trees. So we had a lot of gambling halls, a lot of saloons, a lot of houses of negotiable affection. This area of here, where First and Madison stand today.
Wow.
Well, Marty, I've got some folks here admiring the oldest panoramic shot of Seattle. This is similar to what it would have looked like on June 6, 1889 when that fire started. A lot of wooden buildings, a lot of potholes. This is a huge pothole. You could fit a carriage and a horse in there. Rather than fill it in or deal with it, they just put up a fence to make sure people didn't fall in there. Before I move on with the story about the fire, because there's more fun details about that, I want to tell us where we are, so you can orient yourself. Marty, I want you to picture that door that we were standing in front of, the one that we came through to come downstairs here. That door is represented on this architectural sketch of the building you're standing in right now by this second story window. Right there. And then we came downstairs, and we are on the ground floor level of Seattle. It smells and looks a lot like a basement, but it is not a basement. A basement is a specific. You might have already seen we've got a cracker on a platform. One of the ways that if you had a toilet to use down here in Pioneer Square before the plumbing issues were solved citywide, one of the ways that you would combat that very real problem of geysers, of sewage and salt water and confused fish coming out of your toilet is to put your toilet on a raised platform to hope to be above the level of that geyser, right? And technically you did not have to be above the level of the geyser, you just had to be above the level of your neighbor's toilet. And then they could get it. Yeah. So we're going to move on to another section here, but we've got everyone in here, everyone out. June 7th, 1889, we had a charred, blackened, rubble mess of a city. What some people like to call a muddy, poopy pancake. of the city. And we built up this new beautiful waffle structure. You're standing where we have, you know, the delicious syrup and butter in that system. How did that happen? Well, on June 7th, 1889, the city leaders and business leaders gathered to discuss what to do now that we have a blank slate of a city. We celebrated that nobody had died, and we decided that we were going to fix all of our old mistakes of the past to make brand new ones, right? We had a civil engineer who had been up all night, and he proposed a plan, which was to shoot high-pressured, high-powered water hoses at those tall, steep hills to the east and create a controlled mudslide. Move that land, debris, and material down here to low-lying Pioneer Square and raise this property up, raise it above the tidal level, solve our plumbing issues, just make a better situation for everyone in support structures that are in these buildings are built on top of cedar pylon foundations. So that means basically giant cedar tree trunks that have been soaked in creosote and oil to prevent decay. Those cedar tree trunks were drilled deep into the sandy beach soil down to bedrock. And then that is what the primary support structures of these buildings are on top of. So they're very resilient, actually, to the earthquakes that happen in this region fairly often. You guys still feeling good about yours? But the reason we built this walkway, the reason these floors are so uneven and unstable is because these aren't supported by anything but that muddy, poopy, sawdust and beach landfill. This is concrete that was poured on top of old rotting wooden floorboards that were built on top of a beach surface. So these floors degrade and sink about 1 millimeter a year. Meanwhile, these buildings are pretty strong, resilient, though they do get damaged by earthquakes sometimes. That giant pile of junk, I mean that interesting pile of artifacts behind you, is from an earthquake in 1909. In the building nearby, they had all this rubble to deal with. And they could have paid for it to get disposed of and hauled away, or they had this space available for free. So they just junked it down here. A lot of the things that we're going to see down here were things that business owners nearby just chucked to forget about. Right here I've got some interesting graffiti. You'll see it says rice, and over here it says rolled wheat and rolled barley. This is a clue to why the underground space was condemned. Again, it had nothing to do with the prolific seismic activity in this area. It actually had to do with a lot of food that was stored down here. I'll get into that a little bit later. All right, Marty, we're gonna... The photographer is looking north up what was called Front Street, now First Avenue. So remember that purple glass that we walked over? Roughly at the level of the awnings in this photograph, that purple glass is about here. And then that Starbucks that we walked past before we crossed the street would have been right about here. But if you're confused, that's okay. There's another Starbucks here, the original one over here. There's a few ways that you can tell this is from before the fire, though, even if you don't know the date. Marty, you got any guesses? Wood. Wood, yes, all the buildings are made out of wood, and now all the buildings are? Stone's gone, but that's acceptable too. Brick or stone. Yeah, you guys are listening. Also acceptable is there's still a lot of trees still up on the hills. We haven't chopped them all down yet. Other acceptables, we've got this guy being blown up as crapper. 25 years ago. Most of these have been ripped out or concreted over or replaced. There's less than 100. There used to be over thousands of these things.
Why would they want to replace them?
Well, they were losing integrity as far as
so
water.
Safety.
Yeah, safety. These ones are still holding up pretty good. We're keeping close track of them. But there's folks who are walking up there who have no idea at all that we are down here. They have no idea that these spaces exist at all. Do you want to try and call for help? Oh, come on, play along. Marty, 1, 2, 3. Help! Oh, they don't care. No, they can't hear us actually because it's like a surface. Another step.
Yeah, I got it.
Everything back. After the Klondike Gold Rush hit, we started storing a lot of supplies down here, which attracted a problem, which involved the bubonic plague, right? Because rats transmit the bubonic plague, and all that food that was stored down here attracted rats. So that is the reason the underground was condemned. We were preparing for a World's Fair in 1907, and we had 5 deaths from the bubonic plague. So we brought in a disease expert, and he recommended that we shut off access to the underground, lay down concrete, make it less hospitable to rats. Walls started going up around these blocks between businesses. I'm going to release us to the gift shop and indoor plumbing and actually museums. So the gift shop, because this is a tour and that's like a rule, you end in a gift shop. But there's also artifacts in there. It's part of your tour experience. Check out the artifacts. One of the really cool artifacts we're proud of is a huge photograph. It's the only known photograph of Madame Lou Graham. It's got Madame Lou on the left, and then her 4 top earnings, most requested seamstresses on the right. This photograph was a promotional photo that Madame Lou had taken shortly after the turn of the century, and she wanted to promote her sewing house to traveling businessmen, folks coming into town who were looking for sewing services. So look at
Up to the wood and then split the whole across.
Gift shop.
Espérame acá.
Oh, I see that. Yeah. That's all food up there.
If you're gonna do it, you might as well. somewhere you want to eat at? Chance you think you should do that at some point? Ate it.
I didn't like the actual things. I like potatoes.
Potatoes are good.
So really, I would like potatoes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's one of those.
5:30 a.m. is too early for this shit, but gotta get it done. Going back to camp.